Ah. Austin, welcome in. What's going on? Welcome to the top of the ninth. Appreciate you all tuning in. Austin Layton, along Craig Sandlin here to take you through. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. 5-5, Reds and Cardinals all tied up.
Yeah, Craig, as this one started off, I didn't know what type of game we were going to get back and forth, and we're all the way to the ninth, and I still don't know where this is going to go. But it's been a fun one.
Yeah, Emilio Pagan in for the Reds. He'll face 7, 8, and 9 here. That's Jordan Walker leading off for the Cardinals as he fouls that one away. It is 1-2 for those of you hoping to watch along with us. We are likely behind where you are if you're watching on cable, but if you are watching on the FanDuel Sports Network app like Austin and I both are, then maybe we're pretty close. Jordan Walker, 0 for 3 so far today, reached on an error, struck out, and flew out. Pagan will get Walker, Pedro Pages, and Nathan Church here in the top of the ninth.
Pagan should definitely be rested, though. I mean, shoot, hadn't pitched for basically a week.
Is that necklace new? Is he trying to rock the Noelvi Marte style here? I don't remember that necklace.
You must have picked that up on the West
Walker
Coast.
hits this one to right field. Marte back at the warning track, jumps and makes the catch in the dirt. One down. That one was given a ride by Jordan Walker, but Marte comes up with it. One down.
Catch from a dude that's still figuring out right field, man, but I'll take it.
He hasn't always made it look pretty. He's made some catches look nice, and he's made some somewhat routine catches look not nice, but
yeah,
he's learning. Pedro Pages. Right? Yeah, exactly. Pedro Pages steps to the plate, 1 for 3. A 2-run home run for Pages in the second inning. He flew out each of the next 2 at-bats. This one is driven to left field into the corner. It's off the wall. Nice play by Austin Hayes, who throws it into second, but it won't be in time, and Pages is in there for a double. Runner in scoring position for the Cardinals here in the top of the ninth, a tie ball game at 5-5.
dude, it's not a lot of speed, but throws offline, unfortunately.
Well, when you hit a ball off the wall, a lot of times you're going to end up at second base, whether that throw is perfect or not. So perfect throw might make it close, but wasn't a perfect throw. And so here we are. Jose Fermin into pinch run for Pages. Meanwhile, Nathan Church steps to the plate. He's 0 for 3 today. Fly out, ground out, fly out as he fouls off the first pitch from Pagan. Do anything fun on this Friday, Austin?
Worked, man. It's fun working when you got a 3-day weekend coming up, I guess. But
there you go.
Other than that,
you gonna go to the fireworks on Sunday, or what's your plan?
I don't have any plans to go down there. It's usually a mess, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm actually going to Columbus tomorrow, so
nice.
I'll come back probably. Little tailgate, Ohio State, Texas game. Big Buckeye fan, so hoping
that was a dumb question, wasn't it?
That's okay. You're just teeing it up for me to explain. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Foul back 0-2. The pitch now. Pagan fakes it. Oh, he's got Fermin picked off.
What a move.
Fermin was going on the pitch. Pagan with the pickoff move, and he is erased, trying to advance to third.
Cardinals fans everywhere screaming at their televisions.
And the pinch runner does not pay off.
Right.
Good anticipation by the Reds, knowing that Fermin might be trying to steal their 0-2. Pagan instead runs the pickoff and gets him. 2 outs now for Pagan. Church takes that one in the dirt, 1-2.
What do we got up next inning, Craig? You know?
I do know, actually, since I keep track of that stuff. We got Austin Hayes, Spencer Steer, and Will Banfield. I'd like to say we'd pinch it for Banfield, but he's our only catcher left, so that's not probably an option. How about Hayes just hits a walk-off home run to lead off the inning and we don't have to worry about it?
That's right. Make it easy.
The 1-2 is swung on and missed. Emilio Pagan gets out of the inning without any damage. We head to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 5. Hayes, Steer, Banfield looking to give the Reds a bottom of the 9th walk-off win.
Reds could use this one, man. I mean, I know it's not like the
Sure
worst
could.
streak they've had of losses, but like just emotionally, it feels that way. It's like you got to stop the bleeding. Not that we're gaining any grounds on the Mets tonight, but
no, not tonight. Not tonight.
Hayes over tonight too.
He might be due, as some people say.
That's
some
exactly
people
right.
might say he's due. I didn't say anything personally, but some people might say that he's due.
I've heard people say that. Although, Craig, I'm not sure if you've heard, but the Reds do not hit home runs. So
not normally. Tonight we got 3.
Long stretch of singles here. Yeah. Yeah, it was home run derby both ways earlier.
All right. Austin Hayes takes a look at ball 1. Again, as mentioned, 0 for 3 on the night. He has a sac fly RBI and then 2 additional flyouts to center field, along with a strikeout in his last at bat. I need to turn on Do Not Disturb so that I don't get this ruined. Because the Reds love to tweet if we get a walk-off win before I ever see it. Hayes fouls that one back 2-1.
Yeah, it's usually not even the notifications I got to worry about. It's like my friends texting me that are ahead. It's like, dude,
Hayes takes a look at strike 2 on the inside corner. Even the count at 2-2. Two is fouled off. 98-mile-an-hour sinker out of Svanson. The 2-2 again is down and outside to take it full.
Still do.
Still do. Allegedly. Swung on and fouled back the 88-mile-an-hour sweeper. This is the 11th pitch of this at bat already for Hayes as he swings and fouls that one back yet again. If nothing else, he's making Swanson work.
Are you the type of guy that like also thinks that if we get a guy in like double digits on his first at bat, we're getting this guy tired, man.
Absolutely we're getting him tired. Are you kidding me? Hayes fouls off another one. Let's make it a 20 pitch at bat. Let's go. He's got to face 3 batters either way, Austin. You might as well make him work in the first one.
Like the equivalent in like football, if you run the ball in the first quarter, we're killing the clock.
Oh, I guess Swanson came in to end the last inning. This is the 13th pitch overall, 9th of the 10th of the at bat. Sorry. Sure. And Hayes swings at a high sinker out of the zone for the first out of the inning. That's my fault. He came in to face Andujar at the end of the 8th. Spencer Steer, though, now 1 for 4. He hit a solo home run in the 6th. This one is popped up to shallow left field. That'll be out number 2.
All right, here's the guy that we both said would definitely do it, right?
This is it. This is who you're looking for.
Sadak just said he's looking for his first big league hit. I mean,
what better time
right now?
Swung on and fouled away.
Helmet falls off, not a great sign.
Banfield 0 for 1, struck out in the 7th. The 0-1, strike 2. The 0-2 is in the dirt. Can Will Banfield celebrate his first major league hit with his first major league home run of the walk-off variety? The 1-2 swung and fouled straight back. This one is swung on and hit hard into center field. It'll drop in for a base hit. I don't know why I said that was hit hard. That was not hit hard, but we'll take it nonetheless. First major league hit for Will Banfield.
What's this dude's speed look like for a catcher?
Not good.
Not great.
Here we go. Ke'Bryan Hayes. The reason we are in the position we're in. Hayes with a home run in the 8th to lead it off. Tied this one up at 5. And he's sitting now at 1-1.
What was Ke'Bryan hitting when he came over? Like 220-ish?
Something like that.
It's got the average up a little bit, 237.
Yep. Hayes 1 for 2 on the night. That home run, a fly out and 2 walks. Gavin Lux now stands in the on-deck circle for Santiago Espinal. should Key Brian Hayes reach. Sweeper looking outside corner, strike 3. We're heading to extras.
Free baseball.
That's what we all love, right? That's what we wanted when we talked about coming back to town to face the St. Louis Cardinals after a tough West Coast road trip, right?
It's like 2010 all over again, man. Neck and neck with the Cardinals. Not that I want it to go that far, but after Santiago, we're bringing in Brent Suter.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
It's his birthday today, right?
It is, in fact, his birthday. The Reds teased me this morning by tweeting out happy birthday, Brent Suter. And I foolishly thought, oh, the Reds just tweeted. I bet it's them calling up Sal Stewart. Nope. Wrong.
Do you think that they knew that we thought that too?
God, probably. Reds are going to go to Tony Santillan here in the 10th. For the Cardinals, due up top of the order. So this is why you go Santillan here, because you got firepower here. Lars Nootbaar, and then they pinch ran for Ivan Herrera there in the 8th. So whether they let Garrett Hampson hit here in the 10th or bring in a pinch hitter, we'll see. And then Wilson Contreras due up.
Reds 3-9 in extra innings.
Yep, 3-9 for the Reds,
like
3-5 for the Cardinals.
As some people would say, we're due.
Somebody's due. Santillan's first pitch is swung on and fouled back by Lars Nootbaar. 0 for 4 on the day is Nootbaar.
CM in the chat talking about Hampson coming back to bite us in the you-know-what.
This one is swung on and hit deep to center field. Friedl is back. Makes the catch at the wall. And Nathan Church, the Manfred man, who we didn't even talk about, advances to third on the fly out.
Productive out.
I'm not going to lie. Completely forgot about the whole Manfred man. All right. Cardinals will send a pinch hitter to the plate. It won't be Garrett Hampson. Don't look at the chat, Austin. They're going to ruin it for you.
Oh, yeah. We tried not to, man. It's like looking at a car accident, man.
It won't be Hampson. Instead, it'll be Cesar Prieto. Is it Prieto? Prieto? What do you know about Cesar Prieto?
Next to nothing. Great analysis, right?
Perfect analysis, Austin. Well done.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
All right, Prieto stands in. His MLB debut, and what a position to be in. Tito would never, he'd never put a player in this kind of position to make his MLB debut, would he?
I don't know.
This high leverage moment here.
Make his MLB debut.
That one is swung and fouled off down the left side. 1-1 now on Prieto. I guess that would explain why you don't know anything about him, making his MLB debut here against the Reds in the 10th inning.
Our guy Nick Kirby, probably all over it. But
yeah, I'm sure. The 1-1 from Santillan in the dirt, swung on by Prieto for strike 2. That one is swung on and tipped and caught for strike 3.
Nasty pitch.
Nice pitch. Down and in, slider, foul tip, and caught by Banfield. Nice. 2 outs now for the Cardinals. Man on third. Wilson Contreras 0 for 3 on the day. Reached on catcher's interference. First pitch is dribbled to Elly. Elly scoops, throws to first, and Spear. Oh, no. Steer can't get it out of the dirt. I have so many thoughts. First of all, it's Wilson Contreras. Just take your time and throw the ball, Elly. Second of all, Spencer Steer can't scoop a ball out of the dirt to save his life. For as much as the man is praised for his defense at first base, scooping ground balls, making nice plays that way, he can't scoop a throw to save his life.
Yeah, you gotta
brutal
throw, but at the same time, I see not a crazy hard scoop either.
Hit or what's that scored? A hit or a error? Error. They wrote through it.
I would assume error.
Yep. That'll be Elly's second error on the night. That's a tough error. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an error for sure, but I mean, so avoidable. So avoidable. All right, Nolan Gorman stands in now. The 2-0 is looked at for a strike. Man, that's frustrating.
Classic Reds, man.
Well, you just got to know the situation, man. Like, for many runners, if that's Mason Wynn, you're probably not even making a throw. But it's Wilson Contreras. Right. You had so much time. The 3-1,
man. Just get out of this.
3-1 is low. Walk.
God.
I don't know. That might have been a little bit of a pitch around and take your chances with Mason Wynn, I guess.
Yeah.
Right on right. All right, well. Wynn stands into the plate 2 for 4 on the day. The slider is way outside for ball 1. And you have to wonder Tony Santillan's mental state after that error from Elly, thinking he had gotten out of the inning. Instead, now men on first and second, 2 outs in the inning. Got to get out of this and keep hope. Oh, that one is thrown about 57 feet. Nice pick by Banfield to keep that one to get to the back.
Maybe he's pitching around this guy too. Fingers crossed.
I'm telling you, I think you got to wonder about his mental state.
Oh yeah, I mean it's got to be deflating.
Hmm. 3-1 now to Mason Wynn. You get him on, and you're looking at bases loaded with Thomas Sajaci due up. That one's a fastball right down the middle for a strike.
Yeah, at the same time, man, you got to be ready to go. Can't let that shake you out of a good outing. Especially if you buy into the talk that Santillan's our closer next year.
Yep. Fastball is fouled away. Wynn stays alive. That one's hit up the middle, past out diving Elly De La Cruz. Contreras will score, and the Cardinals lead 7-5.
Not exactly stopping the bleeding that I was hoping for.
No. Wouldn't it be nice if you had some confidence in your offense to be able to score 2 runs in the bottom of the 10th?
I assume it would, but I couldn't tell you.
What's that like?
Wish I knew. Well, we got bottom of the order too.
Yeah, we got Espinal or a pinch hitter, and then the top.
That's. I'm not sure who else we got left to pinch hit, do we?
So JC pops out to Spencer Steer, and we head to the bottom of the inning.
Lux and McLean still on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, Lux was in the on-deck circle there at the bottom of the 9th if he came up. So I would imagine you're not hitting Espinal. I would imagine you're going Lux here, but we'll see.
Some talk in the chat, and obviously outside of that, even this whole year, do you realistically see them putting Elly anywhere else on defense? Like, do you buy into the center field hype or anything like that?
No, I buy into him not playing 162 games anymore. Like, I understand his desire to do that, but realistically, I just don't think it's a smart move to continue to send him out there every single day. He's clearly worn out, and I just don't think it's the right move for that. But
yeah, that's a good point too. I didn't think about the fatigue of it. I mean, it's got to be freaking draining, man. And it seems like a lot of times it's mental with him too. It's like it's got to be stuff where he's just,
yep.
I don't know, you quit it too when you're at work and you're just running on fumes.
Yep. Ke'Bryan Hayes will be your Manfred man at second. Ryan Fernandez in for the Cardinals for the save attempt. He does not have a single save on the season, but 20 games pitched. So Hayes will be at second, and Gavin Lux will stand in as the pinch hitter, as we discussed. In the bottom of the 10th. First pitch from Fernandez is outside for a ball. Check swing. He went Strike one. That ball was well below the zone. 1-1. Gavin Lux, 275 on the year, 5 home runs, 48 RBI, 732 OPS. The 1-1 from Fernandez is a changeup high and out of the zone, 2-1. I think someone sent a super chat the other night. Gavin Lux, the quietest 275 batting average you're ever going to see, as that four-seam fastball like is also high, 3-1.
Yeah, it's quiet offense, man. It's like always a solid at bat, but it's not like you see him carrying the team for a stretch.
That one's fouled off, and that'll catch the Cardinals catcher. I actually didn't catch who's catching for them now, because they pinch ran for Pages earlier. So nonetheless. Okay, Ryan Hayes at second, 3-2 count on Gavin Lux, the leadoff hitter here in the 10th. Swung on and foul down the first base line. The payoff is in the dirt. Did he check his swing? He did. Lux walks. The Reds will have first and second, with the top of the lineup coming up.
Making it interesting, at least.
Well, I mean, if you're a team like the Reds and you're not going to hit a lot of home runs, obviously I recognize that they have hit 3 tonight, but you don't hit a whole lot of home runs. You're going to take all the base runners you can get in a 2-run ball game in the bottom of the 10th. So we will take it however we can get it. First pitch to Friedl is fouled off down the first base line. 0-1. Friedl on the night is 0 for 3 with 2 walks, strikeout and 2 flyouts. Check swing didn't go. 1-1. Swing and a miss by Friedl. 1-2.
I guess we get Marte up this inning too, man. I mean, that's the guy that could most likely end it with one swing. I don't want to get too far ahead.
The 1-2 is swung on and missed. Strike 3 to Friedl. Strikes out for the second time today. Oof. First pitch to Marte is a check swing. First base umpire says he went. Marte 2 for 4 on the day, home run and a single along with a walk. See if he can give the Reds a walk-off victory right here. No one is fouled off him in the box. Oh. 2 men on. Marte at the plate. Elly De La Cruz on deck. If we get there, De La Cruz is 2 for 4 on the day with a double and a triple. The 0-2
to completely redeem himself.
The 0-2 to Marte is driven into center field. Defender is under it. Hayes won't tag. And the Reds are down to their last out. With Elly De La Cruz coming to the plate with a clutch moment. I'm sure many fans will be paying close attention to this clutch opportunity for Elly De La Cruz.
Great play in the field. Great at bat.
Oh, boy.
All 20,000 going wild.
Wild. First pitch is a changeup inside for a ball. On this City Connect Friday.
Doesn't have the same electricity it used to, man.
Nope. That one is just off the plate outside 2-0.
By used to, I mean like 2 years ago in the month of June.
Right. The 2-0. Check swing. He went. No check. 2-1. Swinging a ball in the dirt. 2-2. Elly's helmet falls off, and we're down to our last strike. The 2-2 in the dirt again. He holds up this time. Full count now to the speedy shortstop. If he can reach, he would be the winning run at first base.
Andujar, another guy with pop if we get there.
Andujar on deck. The payoff from Fernandez. Swung on and swung through. Cardinals win this one. 7-5 is your final. Austin. I'm getting tired of doing shows like this, but here we go. We do all 162.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatteberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to Miguel Andujar. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy moly, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
Austin. Here we are yet again. And here I am yet again on yet another disappointing, frustrating, tiring, just endless adjectives loss for the Cincinnati Reds. Appreciate everybody joining on this Friday evening. Craig Sandlin along with Austin Layton here for Chatterbox Reds. Reds fall 7-5 in 10 innings. Look, this is a story of missed opportunities for me, Austin. We'll talk about all the details here in a little bit, but obviously Tony Santillan, you think you're out of the inning there in the 10th. Elly commits that error, unfortunately changes the outcome of the game, and you're left in a position now where you're just one game over 500.
Yeah, disappointing on a few fronts, man. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the stream. It's like one of those games where you're at least fighting, coming down, getting back up, like going into the ninth tied. But like for whatever reason, I mean, there's many reasons over the course of this season, but the Reds just usually can't put together a complete game. They got the pitching, they don't have the hitting. If they got the hitting and the pitching, they don't have the defense. Messing up routine plays. I know a lot of people are already bashing on Elly for the throw. You could, I think, as we were kind of saying, equally kind of blame Steer on the scoop. It's just frustrating. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest word I could use or the best word I could use to describe it. And it came at a time when you're coming off what was kind of the most emotionally draining series as a Reds fan. Luckily, some of the games went, after midnight, and maybe people just went to sleep and didn't see all of it. But the first sweep of the season against the Dodgers, you kind of needed a game to stay in it. I mean, honestly, I think obviously mathematically still in it, but it just feels like they're not, man. And that's the most frustrating part. So it's almost like one of those losses where, normally I'd be pretty upset about it, but it's just like kind of where we're at, man. But I don't know.
mean, I think it's an accurate representation. I think there's a lot of people at this point who just feel like it's officially over, and whether they were bought in on the reality of the Reds being a contender or not doesn't really matter, because at this point they're bought in on the idea that the Reds are not a playoff contender. And so there's a lot of, I'll just say, failure fatigue on the part of this fan base. They've seen this story way too many times, looked it up. Each of the last 4 Augusts have been brutal for the Reds. And here we are again, the Cincinnati Reds in August, just not being able to close out the season. And, we talked during the 9th and 10th innings about Elly's fatigue and whether or not he should continue to play every single day. But you have to wonder, it just feels like this Reds team every single year finds a way to fade away in August. And here we are now 11-14 in August of 2025. And, I would have loved to be able to say that, the Reds got hot and found a way to make it to the playoffs. But at this point, it just feels like this is just who the Reds are. And it's the same old story that we've said time and time again. Failure at the deadline to make the appropriate moves that were necessary to get this team into a contending position. And just a failure in terms of roster management over and over again, some of which we'll talk about later today, I'm sure. But before we get into all of it, let's talk about how we got here. Again, final score 7-5 in 10. Cardinals win. But as always, the box score recap is brought to you by our good friend Nicholas P. Kirby. Reds returned home from a disappointing trip to the West Coast, looking to get back on track against the St. Louis Cardinals. Zack Littell took the mound, looking to bounce back from his short outing against the Diamondbacks, while the Cardinals turned to Matthew Liberatore. The ball was flying out of Great American Ballpark early in this one. Ivan Herrera drove the first pitch he saw to deep right center to give the Cardinals an early 1-0 lead in the first. Elly Marte wasted no time getting the run back as he blasted a home run to left center field for his 12th home run of the season. Elly De La Cruz then doubled to left center and would later score on a sac fly from Austin Hayes. Reds lead 2-1 after the first. The lead didn't last long, though, as Pedro Pages smacked a hanging splitter to left field for a 2-run home run and a 3-2 Cardinals lead. Cardinals added another run in the third as Littell added 3 singles in the inning to extend the deficit to 4-2 Cardinals. Spencer Steer led off the 6th inning for the Reds with a solo home run to center field, his 17th of the season, but the Reds would strand 2 runners on base for the third time in the game and trailed 4-3 after 6. Zack Littell would retire the last 14 batters he faced and completed his day with 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts, but those 2 home runs were costly. Elly De La Cruz led off the bottom of the 7th with a triple to right field off of reliever Gordon Graceffo. Miguel Andujar then drove in De La Cruz on a base hit up the middle on the first pitch of his at-bat, and the ball game was all knotted at 4 apiece. Nick Martinez walked Herrera to start the 8th. He would then advance on a wild pitch and score on a double down the left field line by Mason Wynn to give the Cardinals the lead once again. Ke'Bryan Hayes, though, and took a 3-2 fastball the opposite way for his 5th home run of the season, the third of the season with the Reds, tying the game back at 5-all. Friedl and Marte would walk, but yet again, the Reds leave 2 men on base. Emilio Pagan worked a scoreless 9th, but the Reds couldn't score in the bottom of the inning, and we were headed to free baseball. Tony Santillan came in to pitch the 10th and seemed to have gotten out of the inning without any damage, but a throwing error by Elly De La Cruz prolonged the inning and allowed a run to score. Mason Wynn would then drive in another run, and it would be 7-5 Cardinals. Reds get a walk to Gavin Lux to start the 10th, but shocker here, for the 5th time on the evening, they strand 2 on base and fall to the Redbirds 7-5. Reds are now just 1 game over 500, and pending the current outcome of the Mets game, are 5 games out of a wild card spot. Mets, of course, at this point with a big lead over the Miami Marlins, 13-5. Finishing out that win would make it 5 games in the wild card. And yes, we did have a deep drive of the game. Elly Marte in the bottom of the first sent a home run to left center field, boosted Cincinnati's win probability by nearly 11%, making it 52.6%. It was 108.9 off the bat and a staggering 444 feet in distance. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks as always to our friends at DSC. And we have a couple super chats I want to get to real quick. No Fly Zone said, forget winning. Do the Reds ever score in extra innings? No, they don't. And Herlo said, why is nobody suggesting Littell to the bullpen and Martinez in the rotation? Seems like a much better option. I don't know that either one's a great option at this point, if we're being honest. I mean, Martinez has struggled at times. Littell has been up and down. But Littell also erased 14 straight Cardinals batters to end his outing today. So I'm not really sure that that's the answer. But nonetheless.
Super home run prone, too. It's like, do you want that in the bullpen? I don't know.
I don't really want a home run prone pitcher anywhere, but it is what it is, and you got to deal with it. And I don't know the answer. Martinez has struggled at times. Littell has been up and down for sure. And I don't know. And apparently I forgot to put back up our overlay, but there we go.
Nobody wants to see the score.
Yeah. And I'm sure everybody was really wondering what was going on. And look, I have this rundown, Austin, but I don't know that we necessarily have to start in this order. I don't know that we necessarily have to go even cover these exact topics at this point, but there seem to be a number of moments here that could be the story of the game. I'm sure for many, they're going to look at the Elly De La Cruz error in the 10th. Again, I said it during the live watch along. That was certainly a ball that I felt like could have been scooped by Spencer Steer to save his shortstop an error, but nonetheless, a bad throw gets away and allows the Cardinals to score and continue the inning. And it was the second error of the game. The first one, so JC runs in front of him. Ball takes a not great hop, but Elly just unable to corral it. And a ball that really should have been an easy out ends up becoming an E6. And next thing you know, Pedro Pajes takes the next at bat and hits a 2-run home run and really kind of changed the game again. So you're talking about two Elly errors that, again, I'm not saying that they would or they wouldn't have, happened if it wasn't for those errors. But, if you get that error there and it becomes an out, I mean, whether or not Pajes hits that home run, you just never know. And so, certainly a frustrating a night from Elly. We talked about it before. I'm not by any means suggesting that Elly De La Cruz go to a different position. I'm not suggesting that he's not your everyday shortstop now and in the future. But for me personally, I think that the desire by Elly De La Cruz to hit third in the lineup and to play 162 games a year leads to fatigue and putting him in inappropriate situations from an at-bat perspective. He should be batting probably leadoff or second, and he should be taking days off from time to time. And the reality is that I believe that he has told Terry Francona that he wants to play all 162 and that he wants to bat third, and Tito's just going to allow that to happen. And as a player's manager, there's no argument from him. If your superstar shortstop wants to bat third and wants to play every day, seems to be the answer that Tito is willing to give. I don't know your take on it, Austin, but that's mine. Your thoughts on the two errors tonight and on Elly in general long-term as your shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds?
Yeah, I mean, I think like as a Reds fan base and social media and talking to my friends that watch the team and stuff like that, it's like multiple things can be true, right? Like I know tons of people like to pile on Elly saying he's bad at defense. There's maybe some truth to that. I think there's definitely some validity to playing 162 and being tired. Like these are just things that are going to be impacts on you. Now, the fatigue argument to me, I think, like I said, I think it could be true and a factor, but like defense has been kind of a knock on Elly for a couple of years now, right? And it's not like all of those errors are, past 90 games into the season or things like that. So don't get me wrong. I don't doubt that, doesn't compound it, but at the same time, like it's just been inconsistent since, the jump for Elly. So like, to your point, I mean, if you got a guy that is error prone and maybe not the most solid at defense, then, maybe he's not, the second coming that we were hoping that he'd be to save this franchise and, the all-star kind of cornerstone. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's a really good player. I guess going to your Tito argument of, Tito's just saying yes and playing him. Not sure he has much better options, right? I mean, do you try him in center field? I mean, for all we know, he could look like Noel V. Marte did in center field. So not sure that's definitely, necessarily an answer that's going to fix everything. But yeah, I mean, I think realistically, for the combination of reasons that everybody's laying out, you just kind of got to know what you have with Elly De La Cruz. Like he's not Derek Jeter in the field. He's not, going to hit 300 all the time. Like that's just kind of what it is for me at this point. At least I'm like I feel like you almost have to adjust your expectations with this guy. And like, don't get me wrong, I still think he's one of our better players on the team. Obviously, one of the more electric players in MLB when he's on. Great speed. It's kind of been hampered this year, obviously, with the quad injury or whatever's going on there. That's been kind of a weird one too. But going back to the 162 point, this dude's been running on a bum leg for, 3/4 of a year, then maybe don't keep grinding him every day. But I don't know, man. I think it's just, to me, it's a combination of things, and it's not just going to be something that's like, all Tito, all Elly sucks at defense. I think it's just we're seeing kind of the culmination of the whole environment of what's going on with both internally and externally for Elly. But I really, going back to your question too about the game tonight, I mean, it's like a kicker at the end of the football game, right? You miss the field goal at the end of the game, everybody blames him, but they forget all the third down conversions that you missed. You laying it out, all the runners in scoring position that we left. I mean, that could have changed obviously the game too, but you get to where you are in the end of the game, and it's a throw that Elly's got to make. It's a scoop that Steer could make. So, it just sucks, man. But I don't know. I try to look at it kind of holistically rather than just, pinpointing that one thing. But maybe I'm just too, I don't know, optimistic. I don't even think I'm optimistic, but maybe I'm just giving benefit of the doubt. I don't know, but it's just where I'm at with it.
Well, I mean, to your point, I don't know what the alternative is, Austin. Like, you really want Matt McLean to be your everyday shortstop because we've spent the last month talking about how he should be sent down to AAA for Sal Stewart. You want Santiago Espinal to be your everyday shortstop because everybody in the chat loves to bash on Santiago Espinal except for Honest John because all he does is get base hits. He's our Luis Ariz, like just a poor man's Luis Ariz. And I don't know that there's a better answer right now. Like, you're not going to call up Edwin Arroyo. Ryan Valade's not an everyday shortstop. Like, I don't know what you would expect the Reds to do in terms of those people that want to move him to shortstop or to center field right now. Like, it's just not happening, especially not this year. And, for a team who wants to be, solid defensively and string together base hits and pitch really well, it's just really unfortunate that a guy who is supposed to be your best player has 22 errors on the season and, quite possibly cost the Reds the game today. And will take a brunt of the blame. And to your point, there were other moments that certainly contributed to this, and we'll talk about many of them. But the truth of the matter is that, from my perspective, Tito at some point has to step up as a manager and run this team, and can't just do whatever his players say that they want to do. And just because Elly wants to play 162, just because Elly wants to bat third, like, that may or may not be the best for this team. And if it is, then great. Maybe it is. But if it's not, which I don't think it is, then there needs to be a willingness to have that conversation and that hard discussion with Elly and say, look, you're our everyday shortstop. We need you to be the best. As he said in the preseason, we want you to be the best player on the best team in baseball. Well, I don't think that happens by playing 162 games and being worn out by game 130. And so, unfortunately, here we are now where Elly's getting, to a point where it just seems that more and more this fatigue is compounding and you're seeing more and more errors from him. And I'll pull it up. I could be completely wrong, but of those 22 errors, it sure feels like a solid handful of them have come of late. And if that's the case, it certainly feels easy enough to blame fatigue on that. And I could be wrong, but sure feels like that's a possibility. And including tonight, 7 errors in the month of August. It's just too much for your star shortstop. Seven in the month of August, and five of those have come since August 23rd. 5 of them in the last week.
I was going to say, to your point too, like having Tito as a manager, I mean, not only should he have kind of the clout to tell guys like what they need to hear, but like he should be able to tell that like guys are getting fatigued, you would think, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, he knew he was fatigued. He went out of his way to make sure that Elly didn't come to the field early for batting practice that one day because he wanted him to get time off. He said he took time off to go for his sister's funeral, and Tito wants to give him time off. He talks about wanting to give him time off, but if Elly won't take it, well, guess what? Sometimes you got to do what's best for the player and tell him this is what's happening, whether you like it or not. And I liken it to, I think everybody kind of thought McLean got a much longer leash than what he was playing to. And I know we've kind of been sitting him as of late, but it seems like they let that experiment run pretty long before they really started kind of cycling guys in on a, back-to-back day basis to give him a blow too. So I don't know, man. It's weird because I think the crux of the kind of frustration of this season and kind of disappointment of where we're at too is we kind of banked on like all these guys being the best versions of themselves that they could have been, and some of those best versions we've only seen for snippets of a season and not even a full 162. So like part of it, I think expectations were not necessarily right from the front office to even some of the fans and beyond, but yeah, it's disappointing, man. And I get it too, because people are mad too. It's like, how fatigued can you be to throw a ball to first base? But I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a component, but at the same time, like I mean, to me, it's like it's not like defense always hasn't been a sticking point for this guy, but just where we're at, man. It's frustrating.
Frustrating is a solid word for it, for sure. I don't think that anybody having any conversation around Elly De La Cruz moving to center field is going to get their wish. I don't think. But I could be wrong.
Mid-season. Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't expect it ever. I'm just being honest with you. Yeah. Like, at least not while Terry Francona is the manager. Terry Francona won't even tell him he's not going to hit him third and that he's not going to play 162. You think he's going to tell him he's moving to center field?
Right. And I do like Friedl, so like, what do you do with him? But like, yeah, I don't know.
Just not in the.
And don't let, like, I guess I don't want to come off as like just bashing Elly, because I feel like I've been pretty negative on him too, and like rightfully so maybe after this game. But shoot, the guy still had 2 hits. He's hitting 273. Like, I don't know. People are probably gonna be up in arms about calling out batting average as a boomer stat, but I don't know, man. Not too many bad hitters hit 273. But I don't know, man. Yeah. It's just inconsistency.
No, I mean,
I think it's the biggest thing.
Well, yeah. And, we're still talking about a guy who has 1 home run in his last 50-something games. I mean, yeah, he was able to leg out a double and leg out a triple tonight, but he's not hidden for true power. I don't know. Definitely an intriguing conversation, and one that I'm sure will dominate the headlines this offseason as the Reds look to 2026 and exactly what the best plan is for the Reds moving forward. But a couple other things that stood out to me tonight specifically. Obviously, leaving men on base was one of them, and I'll go through a couple scenarios with you just to kind of walk you through. But we'll start right there in the third inning. At that point, you're trailing 3-2, and you get Friedl on base with the walk to start the inning. Marte follows it up with a single, and you're thinking, great, you got the heart of the lineup coming up, and they go fly out, strike out, fly out, and next thing you know, you're out of that inning. Then in the fourth, again, it's still 3-2. You get 2 men on with 2 out. Probably not as mad about this one, but you get a walk to Ke'Bryan Hayes, a single from Santiago Espinal, and then TJ Friedl strikes out to end the inning. The real frustrating one, I think, and the one that we need to have the conversation about, is the 6th inning. And as a reminder, the 6th inning started with a Spencer Steer home run to tie the game. I believe tie the game at 3-3 at that point. No, they were trailing 4-3. Apologize. 4-3 at that point. Trevino follows that up with a single of his own to right center, and then Ke'Bryan Hayes walks. And they pinch run Will Benson for Jose Trevino, and you immediately know what's going to happen. And what happens is Santiago Espinal lays down a bunt to advance the runners to second and third. And it was a good bunt. Santiago Espinal did his job. This is not a Santiago Espinal conversation. This is just a game strategy conversation. And so Santiago Espinal, with nobody out and 2 men on in a 1-run ball game, bunts, gives himself up, and then Friedl pops out to third. And Marte, to his credit, hit the ball really well. Line drive to right field, a ball that I thought was going to fall down in there for a base hit. Unfortunately, it didn't. And out number 3. And there you are yet again, the first 3 batters of the inning against a bullpen arm who had come in and immediately was facing trouble. And you give him a free out by bunting. And Nick texted me, and it's just wild to me that this is true, but I believe it. The Cincinnati Reds win probability before Santiago Espinal's bunt, so the home run, the single, and the walk, their win probability at that point was 55.9%. Santiago Espinal lays down the bunt. He's out at first. And the Reds' win probability drops to 54.4%. 55.
And I wonder if part of that's like getting another out, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like you're still 1 more out closer to the end of the game. That's the only way I can justify it. But I mean, yeah. And I think the devil's advocate side of that too, you didn't want to make it a Espinal argument. I'm not going to take it all the way there, but people are down on Espinal, right? So you could also make the argument, wow, just let that dude swing away. He sucks, whatever. You at least bunt, get the guys in position. You got Friedl and Marte up coming up. Maybe one of those guys will do something. Marte's hard hit ball obviously didn't drop, but I don't know.
Well, look, so you go from, again, Ke'Bryan Hayes walks, your win probability jumps significantly. Actually, according to Game Day, it jumped 9% on that walk, just from that walk alone, which is crazy. The Jose Trevino single was 6.4% increase. Spencer Steers was 13.9. So you get Ke'Bryan Hayes on base, and you get your win percentage probability over 50% for the first time. Or maybe not for the first time, but for that inning. And then you bunt, and immediately your win probability drops down. And then TJ Friedl pops out to third base, and your win percentage drops 13.9% immediately because now you have 2 outs. Versus if Santiago Espinal pops out or doesn't, who knows what happens. Marte then lines out, and your win probability drops another 10.5%, all the way back down to 30%. So in that 3-batter swing, you went from 55% likelihood of winning the game all the way down to 30% likelihood of winning the game. And again, Marte hit that ball 103 miles per hour, a solid hit. I thought it was a base hit when it came off the bat. Didn't happen. But for a guy who, again, maybe you're trying to avoid the double play, but it's a 1-run game. It's not like you're 1 out in the inning and a double play ends the threat. You have nobody out. They're not going to turn a triple play on Santiago Espinal. I just don't understand bunting in that situation for a team who wants to be built around stringing together base hits. Your whole personality is stringing together hits to build a rally, and you go up there and purposefully give away outs. It doesn't make sense to me, Austin. Explain it to me. Explain it.
And if your strategy is, having a team that can hit the ball, but you probably got a handful of guys batting over 250. It'd be one thing if they were a bunch of dudes with high batting averages that could consistently get hits, but that's not even the case. They can't hit home runs. So that's why you kind of see the results that you're getting, because you're banking on a team to get a bunch of hits that can't. And I don't know, maybe small ball is part of that philosophy of, moving guys over, getting hits, that same kind of thought process. But yeah, it's just, to me, it just, you're playing, again, I think, an optimistic point of view on all these guys that for most of them, they're really below that expectation. You got guys like Marte, don't get me wrong. I think he's overperformed what I thought he would be this year, just based on last year. I think a lot of Reds fans came in last year thinking he was going to be 2023, kind of took a dip, but playing really good lately. He's probably our best player, right? Past month or so.
Certainly up there.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to knock him lining out, obviously, like you said, and crush the ball. Just, it's freaking baseball sometimes, man. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess my point is I'm not going to get too down on the bunt just because, I don't want to get in the habit of saying it almost worked, but it almost worked. So I don't know, man. But it is frustrating in hindsight. At the same time, I think the alternative is letting Santiago Espinal swing away, which hasn't been working that well either. So I don't know, man. It's hard for me to say that screwed it up. But I get it. I get it. We want to see this team be aggressive and take chances, especially where they're at. They kind of got to do or die at this point. So I don't know, man. It's one of those games too where I think a lot of people are going to look at the defense, but offensively it's just a lot of scenarios of not getting it done too. And that's the thing that sucks, because you get in a point where you got to play tight defense because you're in these close games, because you missed opportunities early in the game. And then, even if you're not choking, statistically, you're just going to make mistakes occasionally. And some guys do it more than others, unfortunately, but that's the position you get yourself in.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I think over the course of the season, when you continue to see the same decisions fail to pay off, it just beats you down. And that's where I'm at right now with this team. I think we talked about it before, is I'm just beaten down. And, we come on and we do 162 of these shows over the course of the year. And just like everybody in this chat, Reds fans, they live and die by this team and the decisions that are made and the success or lack thereof on this team. And it just, at some point would be nice to be rewarded for the loyalty with a winning baseball team. And that's really what it comes down to. And, whether it's Tito and his way of managing games that maybe I do or don't agree with, or Nick Kroll and his, his building of this roster and the depth of this roster and the organization. And maybe it's just the lack of guys coming through and performing to their level of expectations. But for years now, Reds fans have spent their February and March getting excited for another season and talking yourself into this is the year. And then, quite frankly, they do what they did this year and they get your hopes up. And they play good ball through the summer. And then we get to the late season and they let you down again. And, we were at a point that, they're in June, the Reds went 15-11. And you thought, all right, this team's got a chance. And they played above 500 ball in July. And you're like, all right, this team's right in it. They got all the way up to half a game back of the wild card, Austin. All right, this is it. This is it. We're gonna make our run. Noelvi Marte's playing well. Elly can get hot. We haven't seen the best of Austin Hayes yet. TJ Friedl was cold for a while. We can get him back. Andujar's looked great. Brian Hayes has looked good. This is it. We're going to do it. We're going to make a run. We're going to get to the postseason. This pitching is good enough that once you get to the postseason, you can make some noise. And then you go to the West Coast. And the West Coast does what the West Coast does. And you go 3-6 on the West Coast trip. And you come back. And now all of a sudden you're staring at an 11-15 record in August, 5 games back of the Mets in the wild card. And you just say to yourself, there we go again.
Well, and you're about to say it again because they got to go back out there to play the Padres and the Athletics. I mean, that'll be fun, I'm sure. But no, man, to your point too, and they stayed in it just long enough because you always get to this point in the season where it's like, September begins and football season starts, and you had half full stadium there tonight, Friday night, high school baseball going on. People are distracted by that. They're not going to go to the game. College football just started last night. If you're like an average, sports fan and you're trying to pick, what are you going to invest your time in? What are you going to go see? I mean, granted, we probably would have lost some fans for football regardless, right? Bengals start next week. So people aren't going to go on Friday if they go to high school football. They're not going to go Saturday if they're college football fans. They're not going to Sunday once the Bengals start. And then you come across the last week that the Reds have had, the whole road trip the Reds had, culminated getting swept by the Dodgers, kind of losing a game every day in the standings as they actually lose a game. They lose a game standing-wise and lose an actual game. So it's like literally the worst time to have your worst streak, just momentum-wise, for the city, for the buy-in of the fans, for people are like, well, clearly not going to go to the Reds game now because they're out of it. Football's here. See you next year. So it sucks from that aspect too, man. But I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me too is, and I don't want to use this as a crutch for the team, and I almost hesitate to even bring it up, but it's just frustrating too, man, because you go out there and you got to play somebody like the Dodgers that, even if they got a bunch of guys that suck and are batting under their average, they got at least some resources to kind of play around and, fix it, right? Where the Reds, I mean, you're really freaking banking on getting a couple decisions right. And when you don't make huge decisions, you're really banking on those decisions being right. And I don't think anybody's going to say if they went all in by any means at the trade deadline. They didn't. But those kind of moves, you can almost see. And again, I don't want to be giving these guys a cop out, but you just got to understand, I think, kind of where they're probably coming from with it. You can't really go all in. I mean, would it have made sense to trade a bunch of our prospects? No. Would it have made a bunch of sense to trade major leaguers? No. So you got to kind of make these creative decisions if you don't want to hang in the mix of not screwing up this year, but also not screwing up like the next 4 years. And that's the frustrating part, man, because you can have a good team, you can have, the guys that you have, and it's just that it's a clear imbalance of resources, which is just almost silly in a competitive sports environment, which again, I don't want to use that as the excuse for this team, because I think you could look at it and say these guys have historically spent less money than they even could have being a smaller market. So I think, they get out of it saying we're a small market, we can't do this, but they're not even doing what they could most of the time, it seems like. So I don't know. That's the biggest part for me. It's bad from a performance standpoint. It's bad from even like positioning standpoint of when you come in. It's like when they had NIL in college football for the past couple of years. And granted, I see the picture behind me. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm like the last guy anybody wants to hear about this. But like the resources that like Ohio State has from like the rest of the Big Ten, I know they've kind of balanced it out, but it's just like if you're like Northwestern coming in Big Ten, it's like I can't spend these guys. What the heck? But like that's kind of where you're at in baseball, which is just silly. And it's one of those things that I don't want to take this discussion all the way this way, but like there seems to be like no appetite to even fix it from even the players because they don't want a salary cap. So like it's like I don't know. I just don't see it getting better from that aspect at all. I don't know where you're at on all of that.
Well, no, I mean, to your point, you got this series with the Cardinals, and then the AL East leading Blue Jays come to town. Then the team that you're chasing in the wild card, the New York Mets, come to town. Then you go back out west to the Padres, the Athletics, and Cardinals. And then you have a 4-game set at home with the Cubs. Then you get a set with the Pirates, and then you get a set with the Brewers. And I'm sitting here looking at this, and I'm thinking, dang, Austin, are we going to lose 15 more games and finish under 500 this season? Because that's where I'm at this point. I would not be surprised, which is crazy, because I went from a couple of weeks ago being like, all right, this team's going to win 88 games. We're going to get into the postseason. And now I'm sitting here looking at the team and the way that they're playing, and I'm looking at the schedule that's upcoming. I don't know if we're a 500 ball club, which is crazy with this starting pitching rotation to sit here and think that you're not a 500 ball club with the rotation that you have with Green, with Lodolo, with Abbott, with Burns, with Littell, with Martinez. I mean, how does this team manage to, at this point, one game over 500? By the time it's all said and done, probably under 500.
Yeah, I mean, it's the inconsistency on offense for sure. But yeah, and then the thing that's even more crazy about the schedule aspect of it, I mean, we knew we had the toughest schedule like coming out of the All-Star break or short after that or whatever. It's like the rest of the year. And I remember the narrative, or one of the popular narratives among Reds fans is like, well, shoot, we play better against good teams anyway, right? Like it's the bad teams we got to worry about. Good thing we're not playing the Pirates anymore. But I mean,
we're unsweepable, Austin. We were unsweepable.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. A lot of good that banner did us too, right? But no, I mean, and then I think we kind of got the reality check of it's like if you play a lot of freaking really good teams, like chances are you're not going to win all those series. So like that was kind of an unrealistic expectation for that to like work out well for us. But yeah, and I think I can't remember. I heard somebody talking about it earlier today, but like the win total that Vegas had for the Reds, what was it, like in the 70s maybe or something like that? People were like, oh, they're going to be way that. Yeah, they're going to overshoot that like crazy. But now it's like maybe they more accurate than we thought, unfortunately. But it sucks, man. It's I mean, the silver lining in all this is technically you're not out of it. And you do have a lot of games against teams that you're kind of juggling with, right? And I'm not saying this is gonna go well, but I'm just saying that's the positive spin on all of it. But it's
something to throw at you, man. You're not out of it. You're 5 games behind. I don't even know if this is final yet.
Trust me, I mentally I think they're out of it, but like mathematically, I'm just saying. But yeah. Do I expect them to be in it? No.
Mets game is final 19-9 is your final from New York. The Mets beat the Marlins 19-9, and the Reds are officially 5 games back in the wild card race. This seems like a appropriate time to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. Whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. Austin, let's flip the switch a little bit. Actually, no, before we do that, we have another super we want to get to, and then a question from the chat that I want to get to just because they've asked it a lot. So we'll start. This team's inability to hit early fastballs the way they used to is a joke. Can't even hit middle fastballs. It's like they're too scared to make mistakes early in at-bats. It's honestly a joke. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been super impressed all year with the whole hitting approach of this team, and I don't know if that's Chris Faleka or that's just guys playing as though he'd probably play regardless of a hitting coach, but I don't find any fault in it. What do you think?
I've said it all year that this team feels wholly unprepared every single time out. And whether it's approach, whether it's scouting, whatever, I don't know. But the amount of times I've watched players stare at an 0-2 fastball right down the middle because they were expecting a breaking ball or something else. The amount of times I've seen people swing right through fastballs right down the middle because they were swinging for a slider or something is beyond me. And again, it's really hard for me to know exactly why without being in the dugout and seeing and hearing what they're hearing. But between the approach and between the scouting and the preparation, something has to change. This is, to be fair, this is the way baseball is now. Pitching is better than it's ever been, and offenses is as difficult as it has ever been to come by. So, like, it is what it is, and I don't think that that's necessarily going to change unless they move the mound back or something. But, you know, the truth of the matter is that this team, many players on this team consistently find themselves guessing at pitches, and as a result, they are unable to connect. And I've been talking about it for months that the best hitters, when they get in that groove, they're just seeing the ball and they're reacting to the ball. They're picking up the spin of the laces. They're picking the ball up out of the pitcher's hand right away. There's been very few moments where I've felt like any Red player has been in that kind of a groove where they're seeing the ball that well. And
you're not getting those Joey Votto multi-pitch at bats.
No. And Joey talked about it recently. He talked about how he was playing along with the pitcher. He was guessing. He would know what pitch was coming almost every at bat because he had done enough preparation to know that. And so now you're talking about players now who either aren't preparing the same way that Joey Votto did, didn't have the same mental capacity that Joey Votto did, or are being coached differently than Joey Votto was. One of those three, and it's leading to different outcomes versus when Joey Votto was playing, where he could play along with the pitcher and know what the pitcher was going to throw on most pitches because he had studied that much. And so, yeah, I think to answer the question, I don't necessarily think it's an inability to hit fastballs. I think it's a poor preparation to know what kind of a pitch to expect in certain situations from certain pitchers. So that to me is the more likely cause of issues, but I don't know for sure because I'm not in there. $5 super chat from Kyle Craven. Feels like this team just doesn't care. Nobody yelling at umps, nobody getting ejected, nobody getting fired up in the dugout, just nothing. IDK, man. I said that a couple weeks ago. This team feels like it has zero personality. For a team that a year or 2 years ago felt like one of the most dynamic, energetic, youthful teams in the major leagues, you turn and you watch them now, and there's not a single thing that makes me feel like they have a ton of personality. Like they're not getting fired up. They're not arguing pitches. They're not getting thrown out. They're not doing anything to make me believe that they are really bought in on the success of this team. The only guy that ever shows me any sort of real emotion is Nick Martinez. And unfortunately, most of the time, that's when guys are saving his butt by making great plays and he's getting pumped up for them more so than anything else, So
and he's usually on 11 anyway. He's
always on 11. Yeah,
like
100%. But where's that? That's not rubbing off on anybody else. And so I don't know. I agree with you though, Kyle, and certainly
Will Benson's
would love to see that.
I mean, I know he's a lightning rod for the fan base and multi aspects, but Will Benson, I think, brings that energy and kind of fire too. But I feel like we just never see the dude, man. Like, how many at bats has he had since they even called him up? Like, I don't know the number, but it just seems like not a lot.
He just had his first at bat in like 7 days the other day.
Yeah, like trust me, I don't think he's like the answer to all of our problems, but like from an excitement standpoint, from just a change it up standpoint at this point, like I don't know, that dude at least brings some fire. I like it.
Yeah, nobody is bringing fire to this team right now. It surely doesn't feel like. Will Benson, I don't remember exactly when he got called up, but going back to the 17th of August, Will Benson now has a combined 7 plate appearances. So yeah, not exactly leaning on Will Benson right now. All right. Let's get into a couple other somewhat positive topics. The first one's a little bit of a hit or miss. We'll talk about Zack Littell and his performance today. Mentioned it in the box score recap and in the graphic, obviously, but Zack Littell, 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, which was important, 4 strikeouts, but unfortunately give up the 2 home runs. But settled in and retired his last 14 batters that he faced, Austin. Tito said in the post game that it felt like he just didn't have command of his off-speed pitches tonight, was leaving him up in the zone, and that was what led to the damage. Look, Littell is a guy that they went out and got at the deadline to be able to give depth to this starting rotation. 7 innings of 4-run ball should be enough to win a baseball game. So I want to start there. But also, he's given up the most home runs in all of Major League Baseball this year. And you're pitching in Great American Ballpark. So you got to take the positives with the negatives, I suppose. What did you think about Littell's outing as a whole?
Yeah, as a whole, I mean, it's hard to be too mad at it. I think it started off obviously kind of scary in the first, giving up the home run. You're like, oh, here we go. To your point, this dude gives up a lot of home runs. Like, is it going to be this for the next, 4 innings? Then he's out, and then we're churning through bullpen guys. But to his credit, man, I mean, I know they're kind of dealing with a short deck or whatever the phrase is with Ashcraft going on the IL and kind of having a limited bullpen, so to speak. I just had an off day too, so like, all right. But I think it's just an important start from that aspect of being able to go 7. This game went extra innings. We really only used 3 guys out of the bullpen. So like, it could have been way worse, I guess, is the way that I'm looking at it. It's not great. I mean, to your point, guy gives up 2 home runs, but like at the end of the day, like 7 innings, 3 earned runs, like, I don't know, do I care necessarily that it was home runs versus like 6 doubles or something? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it sucks that they're home runs, obviously. You'd rather guy not give up those, but at the same deal, like if it's going to be that, box score line of just runs and innings, like it's not terrible. I mean, I think it was good that he was able to kind of give us at least 7 innings. I mean, you can't be too mad at that anytime it happens. You're still in the game, obviously, when he left it. So
right.
Take it.
Yeah. No, I felt like there was an opportunity there for him to kind of give in and this game to really fall apart. And he didn't let that happen. And so, you start off giving up the home run in the first inning, but then you bounce back and you get 2 runs in the bottom of the first. And you're like, all right, that first inning didn't matter. But then you give up 2 runs to the Cardinals in the second. You're like, oh gosh, here we go. Like, can't do it. And then we give up another run in the third and you're like, oh geez, here we go. and you're looking at a 4-2 ball game at that point, and you're like, man, we really needed this game, and we're not going to get it. And then luckily the offense battled back, but ultimately drop it. But the fact that he was able to buckle down, find control of his pitches, figure out what was working tonight, and retire the last 14 batters, I can't really complain about that. Like, at the end of the day, I think he gave you a chance to win. One of the runs was unearned. Obviously, we talked about that with the home run, but yeah, I think in general, he gave you an opportunity to win, and that's what the starting pitching rotation has done all season long.
Yep, I'll take it.
On the other side of the ball, for a team that loves to hit singles, did a little bit less of that today and hit 3 home runs. Got to be happy with that. Spencer Steer gets on the board with a home run. Noelvi Marte, 444 feet. And then Ke'Bryan Hayes hits one off the top of the wall that bounces over, and you get a home run there. Unfortunately, all 3 of them were solo shots, though. And, unfortunately doesn't add up to enough. And so good to see some power out of this offense, if we're being honest. But situational hitting still has to matter. And, luckily Andujar drove in Elly after that triple, but just, at the end of the day, you left 9 guys on base and 10 guys on base in this game. And you're not going to win a whole lot of ball games when you're leaving that kind of number of guys on base.
Yeah, that's kind of like, to me, I keep using the word frustrating because I don't know any other similar words to throw into it. But it's like, that's the knock, right? We can't hit home runs. We finally get 3 of them. They're all solo shots. It's like, dude. So like, I don't know. It's I don't know. I think we beat this horse dead at this point, but it's just the situational hitting, the situational defense, situational pitching. It just never is all in sync, and that gets you to where you're at with this Reds team, essentially.
Yeah, it really is. You want a team to be good at stringing together hits, and then when you need them the most, can't come up. And I apologize, misspoke. 14 runners left on base. Reds 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position tonight. Any final thoughts on this game tonight, Austin? Anything that stood out to you that we haven't talked about yet?
Nah, man. The headline for me, though, is just I don't know. You needed a win. You didn't get it. And the snowball just keeps going down the hill at this point. But luckily they play tomorrow. So I don't know. Yeah, that's the bright spot about baseball sometimes. And one of the worst spots about it too is, hey, you lost that one. Good news. There's 162 of these in a season. The bad part for us is we've already seen a majority of those be not as good as we hoped.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a good segue into our MILB segment of the show, Austin. I and many others felt like today was a great day to call up Sal Stewart. I'll start by acknowledging the fact that he's not on your 40-man roster. You would need to make a move in order to make that happen. But as we've said multiple times, there are guys on this roster, on this 40-man, that you can easily sacrifice if that's the case. It's ironic that on the day that they get 3 home runs is the day that we all thought that this would happen. But me and you, we haven't really had a chance to talk about this a whole lot. So I want to at least spend a couple minutes on it. And I thought today was the day. I'm being honest. I thought, okay, well, they were out west. Matt McLain got his chance to go home. Still didn't bust out of that slump. Now you're coming back. Louisville's right down the road. Just drive him up. Have him be there for tonight. Maybe make his major league debut tomorrow. Start at second base tomorrow. Didn't happen. He played in Louisville. No indication at this point that it is imminent. The deadline is on Sunday, Austin. If you're going to have Sal Stewart on your postseason roster, which is ridiculous to talk about after I just said we're not going to finish 500, but which if you're Nick Kroll, your job is to prepare your team for that, right? So you put together your best 40 man to make sure that if you do go on a run, that it's built properly. He's got to be on it at this point. And the fact that it didn't happen today is a little surprising. Is there a chance it still happens though, Austin? Give me some faith.
I think there's definitely a chance. And I think shout out to our pregame show. I don't know if you listen to those guys at all before the show or before the game today, Mike and Alex on there.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Kind of did a good job. I think they did a good job of breaking down kind of both sides of the argument, if you will, because the factors that are in play. For me, if you're to your point, if you're looking at this team right now, clearly they need a shot with some offense. Clearly this guy's an offensive dude. Call him up, instant offense, at least try. I mean, at this point, at least try, right? Like that's stop rolling out Matt McLain every day. Stop, putting in Espinal, guys that we're kind of tired with. At least try this dude, right? I think that's one side of it. And I don't know the specifics of this. I don't know if the argument's even as valid as I thought it might be, but is there some deal where if they wait until actually September, it impacts his service time at all? Is that a factor? Is that real? Do you know that? I'm sorry,
if you're not going to put him on the 40-man roster until after September, then he's not eligible for the postseason, and it doesn't make any sense to bother to do it at all.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So I guess I didn't know if there was any benefit of waiting until September to actually call him up, but if there's not, then I guess I don't get that side of the argument. But I mean, the only thing that I've heard is he's not super great defensively. And I admittedly, dude, I do not watch enough of the minor leagues to even have an opinion either way on that. But if we're going to spend the first 30 minutes complaining about defense today, maybe we don't want to see that. But I don't know. At this point, like, if it doesn't hurt to call him up, service time wise, then I was kind of looking for an instant, ejection of some offense. If they can do that, I think it made sense to do it with the off day, but here we are. I mean, is that like the defensive side of it? Do you see them penciling in it? I'm legitimately asking. I'm not trying to set this up one way or the other, but like, would they plug him in at second? Like, is that probably the thought? Like, I know he's been playing some first, I heard.
Well, I think he's your first baseman of the future. I like Spencer Steer. We talked about it earlier. He's made some really good defensive plays over there at first base, but he's not a first baseman. I mean, he's playing there because you need him to, but he's not a first baseman. I think he's your first baseman of the future, but the fact that they continue to play him at third, at second, at first, like he's literally playing everywhere. He played third base tonight. Tells me that they just want to get him in the lineup offensively and put him wherever makes sense for that evening. If I'm the Reds, though, I'm putting him at first base, and I'm not taking him off of there until he's in the majors. But the trouble is, and this is where you get into that kind of double-edged sword, is like, even though I think he's your first baseman of the future, he probably should be your second baseman of now. And so you're in this kind of catch-22 where, like, do you want to bring him up, and do you want to put him at second base, a position that maybe isn't his long-term position, just because you aren't happy with the performance of Matt McLain so far, even though your identity is defense and Matt McLain is really solid defensively? Or do you leave him down there and let him develop at first base so that next year he can be your opening day first baseman? But you also have to consider the fact, okay, well, you've got Ke'Bryan Hayes locked up now. You've got Christian Encarnacion Strand. You've got Spencer Steer. Like, you have to figure out what your plan is long-term. And I don't know that I know what the Reds' plan is long-term at first. And I think that the Reds are still counting on Matt McLain to be their second baseman of the future. And so if that's the case, you have to start asking the question, well, is Sal Stewart a better first baseman than CES? Is he better offensively than CES? Now, I know a lot of people in the chat are going to immediately chime in and say CES has had his chances. He didn't perform. He's down at AAA again for a reason. But that's not what the Reds' mindset is right now. Their mindset is that CES is your first baseman. And so if CES is your first baseman, allegedly, if Matt McLain's your second baseman, if Elly's your shortstop, if Ke'Bryan Hayes is your third baseman, like, where does Sal Stewart fit in? because then the question becomes, well, do you just do whatever you can to get him into the lineup and he's a DH most nights? Well, you've got Miguel Andujar who's injured and can't play in the field. You've got Austin Hayes who you're playing at DH a lot of times. Like, I honestly, I think the reason we're not seeing Sal Stewart is because they don't know what his long-term plan is, and they don't want to put him into a situation where he's not developing, because the Reds are so focused on developing players and not so focused on winning ball games right now. And so to me, that is why we haven't seen Sal Stewart, is because the Reds, quite frankly, don't know where he fits in. And he's forced his way into AAA because he's been so good offensively. But the fact that he continues to move around defensively tells me that the Reds don't know where he fits in. And so that's why we're in the situation where we are, where everybody wants him to come up and play second base because we need the offensive injection. But the Reds may not see him as the long-term second baseman. And so they have to figure that piece out. And I would like to sit here and say that, you know, you've got Austin Hayes, who's not likely to be re-signed next year based on his performance so far. The option won't be picked up. And so you've got a hole in left field. Gavin Lux isn't a traditional left fielder. Will Benson clearly is not in the favor of Terry Francona. Like, it just, every time I get into this conversation, I just ask myself, as much as we've put into our future of these prospects and everything else, like, is the team really built to be successful? And I don't know that that's the answer. Like, I wish I could sit here and say, yeah, I feel really confident about the prospects that we have. I feel really confident about the young players that we have at major leagues right now. Here's what the roster is going to look like in 2026 or 2027. And here's what our lineup's going to look like. I don't know that I can sit here right now and tell you what our lineup is going to be in 2026, or even have a beginning of a thought behind it, because I don't know where some of these guys are at in the Reds' eyes. And that's really what it comes down to, because I think everybody in this chat, and me and you, I think likely would agree on what would that might look like, or at least be able to come down to pretty close to an agreement on that. But I don't know that I can sit here and tell you what the Reds are going to do on opening day of 2026.
No, and I think that's part of the downfall of this current team, is you got a lot of guys that are basically playing at not their natural position. I think it's certainly an impact of, you know, not that I want to circle back to this again, but Steers picked tonight at first. Like, dude's not a first baseman. Like, Noel Marte is not a center fielder, not a right fielder. Steers not necessarily a left fielder, which is probably where he'd move in all this too next year, or to get more at bats, I would guess. But yeah, that's the downfall. Is you got a lot of guys that you're almost just piecemealing into a lineup, sacrificing defense because you want to get these guys in the lineup, and then 3/4 of them aren't even that good at hitters. So it's like you're doing all this like hodgepodge stuff to get these guys into places they don't even fit because you want to get their bats in the lineup, and then like our offense is what it is too. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, they almost have a log jam of guys that just like have like no place to be. It's like an island of misfit toys or something. I don't know. Maybe that's our new team motto: the island of misfit toys.
Yeah, it really is. Really is. And so I think that's my answer. At the end of the day, I think what it comes down to is the Reds don't feel confident in Sal Stewart being a long-term option at second base. They just want to get him in the lineup, which is great. And when rosters expand on September 1st, it's easy to get him up here, because at that point you don't have to sacrifice another position player that can play defensively. You can just add him to the lineup. But you're going to have to DFA somebody in order to get him onto the 40-man. My gut is telling me that that's going to be Connor Joe. You DFA Connor Joe, you get Sal Stewart onto the 40-man on Sunday, and then on Monday he gets called up as your 26th guy, and at that point you can still have your defensive prowess with Espinal and McLean, and still have the ability to get Sal Stewart's bat into the lineup when you need it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do because, I mean, to your point, it seems like, I don't know, 90% of Reds Nation, like, it's like, where's this guy at? So I don't know. It's almost like that thing that's like inevitable, but just has not happened. It's just kind of baffling. And then it's even more baffling as they kind of spiral out of control and contention, but such is life.
Yeah, here we are. All right. That's a good segue into Reds MILB. Quick take a look around the I guess you can't hear me if I took me off. Did you hear any of that? Yep. That is it. All right. Well, we'll try it again real quick. Thanks, Trace. Louisville won 6-4. Blake Dunn 2 for 4 in this one. Hector Rodriguez 2 for 5 with a double. Sal Stewart 1 for 4 with a double and 3 RBIs. Definitely could have used those RBIs at the major league team tonight. Reese Hines was 1 for 4. Ryan Valade 1 for 4 with a double. And PJ Higgins 2 for 4. Pitching wise, Reaver San Martin 2 innings pitched, no hits, 2 strikeouts. Buck Farmer 1 innings, 2 hits, no runs. And Luis May 1 inning, gave up a solo home run, struck out 2 in the effort. The Chattanooga Lookouts, they fall 2-1 to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Blue Wahoos get a walk-off hit by pitch. Lenny Torres Jr. walks 2 and then gives up a hit by pitch to give the Pensacola Blue Wahoos the win. Chattanooga, they only compiled 5 hits on the day. Edwin Arroyo had 2 of them. Jay Allen 1, Austin Hendrick 1, and Austin Callahan had 1. All 5 hits were singles. The Dayton Dragons, they win 4-2. Carlos Jorge on this one, 5 for 5 with 3 runs and a double. Peyton Stovall has been playing really well of late. He was 2 for 5 in this one. Carlos Sanchez 1 for 5. Michael Steffen 2 for 3. Yerlin Confidant 1 for 4 in this one as well. Nothing of note on the pitching side. And then the Daytona Tortugas, they fall 10-6. Alfredo Duno 0 for 3 in this one. Kyle Henley was 2 for 5 though. Kien Vu 1 for 2. He walked 3 times. He's been on base a ton. OPS right now for Kian-Vu of 941. Alcantara 1 for 5 in this one as well. And that is your Reds MILB. Now looking ahead, Austin, to tomorrow's matchup. Reds will meet once again with the St. Louis Cardinals. First pitch for tomorrow scheduled for 6:40 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Andrew Abbott going up against Michael McGreevy. Andrew Abbott is coming off his worst outing of the year, gave up 7 runs. 6 of them were earned in just 4 innings of work against Arizona. Causes season-long ERA to balloon from 2.28 all the way up to 2.62. Over the 7 previous outings, though, Abbott had worked 46 1/3 innings with a 2.53 ERA, allowing 3 home runs while striking out 34. Abbott's 4-2 in his career against the Cardinals with a 3.76 ERA. He's faced them twice this season, allowing just 1 earned run on 7 hits over 11 innings pitched. He's faced these guys a ton. Of note, Mason Wynn, 2 for 14. Wilson Contreras, 3 for 9. Jordan Walker, 0 for 9. Alec Burleson, 0 for 9. Lars Nootbaar, 0 for 7. Nolan Gorman, 1 for 5. Pedro Pajes, 1 for 4. Ivan Herrera, 2 for 3. On the other side, Michael McGreevy, second-year player, is making his 12th appearance on the season, has a 4.43 ERA. In his last outing on August 25th against Pittsburgh, he allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings of work, allowing 6 hits while striking out a career-high 7. McGreevy, according to Baseball Savant, allegedly throws 7 different pitches, Austin. They are 4-seamer, sinker, sweeper, curveball, cutter, changeup, and slider. His 4-seamer averages 93. McGreevy has never faced the Reds or any of their active players. What are you looking for tomorrow from the Reds as they look to bounce back and get back in the win column?
It's another winnable game, man. And to your point, it's a bounce back game for Abbott. Hopefully he can right the ship after, like you said, a rough outing last time. See if the Reds can replicate any of the home run power that they had tonight. But wishful thinking there. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's a starter they could. 7 pitches from McGreevy. Hopefully not too many fastballs in lieu to a super chat comment from earlier. But I don't know. It's when you go into as the Reds and you think like it's not too intimidating, right? Like it's winnable. So go out and do it, man. Let's see it.
Yeah, we talked about it at the time, but you look back on that West Coast road trip and they lose to the Diamondbacks in extra innings to start that series, and then the next game they come out and lay a complete egg. They lose that one 10-1. It was really just kind of the start of a downfall. You even look back to the Angels loss on the Wednesday where they lost 2-1. Like those are the kinds of things that can really spiral out of control, and the Reds at this point have to make sure that they don't allow this to spiral out of control. Because again, like I said earlier, very easy at this point to see how the Reds can find a way to finish under 500. We do have one more super chat before we wrap this one up. Austin, isn't it weird that our entire team build is pitching and defense, and yet we play 81 games in a top 5 hitter friendly stadium? Oh wait, it was 80 this year because we played 1 on a racetrack. Yeah. We've been talking about this year for years, haven't we, Austin, about the team makeup and the fact that they don't embrace the stadium that they play in?
Yeah, it seems kind of silly that, to your point, they're a team built on getting base hits, but even if they just had slight power, they'd probably be able to do pretty well for half of their games and one at a racetrack, even though they played in a monsoon. But yeah, it's head scratching for sure, and doesn't seem to be working out. So maybe it's cause for change. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we haven't understood it for years, man. At this point, it's like just banging your head against the wall, continuing to ask the same question over and over again. We wanted this team to go out and get a power bat this offseason, settled for Austin Hayes. And Austin was fine, but realistically, there were so many better options out there. And, you can look back and say that Heidenstein is 2020 and some of those guys struggled. Some of those guys have played really well. But the truth of the matter is that the Reds settled and they paid a guy $5 million or whatever they're paying Austin Hayes to come. When in reality, I mean, everybody wants them to go out and get Kyle Schwarber this offseason. Can we just pump the brakes on the Kyle Schwarber conversation? Yeah, we would all love to see Kyle Schwarber come back to Cincinnati, and we would love to see him hit 70 home runs next year in Great American Ballpark. But I hate to break it to you. The dude's hit 49 home runs already this year. He hit 4 home runs last night on Thursday night. He's not coming to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Reds are not paying Kyle Schwarber to come home. Get it out of our minds. Just get rid of it right now. It's not happening. But yes, it is definitely a choice to continue to roll out a offense that is focused on hitting singles in a ballpark that is known for giving up home runs. All right. I think that's enough for tonight, Austin. Unless you have any final thoughts, I'm happy to turn it over, but you're shaking your head and I'm going to agree with you. We've been live now for 2 hours, bro. This is the joy of extra inning games, and then frustration just goes off the rails. I apologize for taking up your entire evening, but look, Reds fall 7-5 to the Cardinals. Back at it tomorrow. Hate to say it, but I'll be right back here with you in the 9th inning to walk you through it. Hopefully a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. Until next time, for Austin Layton, I'm Craig Sandlin. This has been Chatterbox Reds. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.